This pen, the Pilot G2, is going to get a more glowing review than it deserves. After all, it is just a pen. But this pen's been through a lot, and I've been through a lot with this pen. I originally got this pen at the beginning of my senior year of high school, and I used it that entire year to write down everything, whether I was trying to analyze poems in my language arts class or trying to draw the graphs of equations in my trigonometry class. This pen was there for all of that. Then this pen went on to be my personal pen. By this time, it had acquired some sentimental value, and I paid special attention not to lose it, which meant I used it less, but I certainly used it for more important things. The pen that I had once used to draw on my friends' notebooks when they weren't listening, I now used to write in my journal, to write down my feelings, to write down things I wouldn't tell anyone. I also used it to vote in my first election. Yeah, this pen had become something pretty important to me by then. And to think of all the words that have come out of this pen, everything from my notes to my feelings. If this pen had a memory, it would know everything about me, my feelings, my notes, also who I voted for. This pen would know things that I certainly wouldn't remember. And yet, that doesn't tell you anything about the pen. I mean, it doesn't tell you anything about the Pilot G2, because certainly I could have voted with any ballpoint pen. Certainly I could have written down my notes with a pen given to me by a classmate, could have written down my feelings with any pencil, sharpened and resharpened into nothing. Surely I could have gotten a pen that I could keep so long from anywhere. And I think that's where you'd be wrong. You see, I've tried to use pens for long term purposes before. I've tried to use pens for an entire year, and I only ever succeeded with this particular Pilot G2. Because with other pens and pencils, they feel cheap. They're not worth holding on to. With a pen that you get for free from your bank or from a fundraiser that you forget as soon as you lose the pen, the ink is blotchy, and it only writes when it seems to want to. I mean, how can you daydream about a pen remembering everything about you if it doesn't even care enough to write when you want it to? That's where the Pilot G2 sets itself apart. It's a relatively inexpensive, really good pen. It draws with a smooth line, it draws with a thick line, and the plastics hold well over time. It feels heavy. It feels nice to write with. And that's why I was able to keep this pen in particular. I don't remember where I got this pen, but I certainly know the reason I was able to keep it is because it left an impression. A lesser pen would have been forgotten, a lesser pen would have been lost, but this isn't a lesser pen. I was able to keep this pen because it's a Pilot G2.